Thank you. So I will try to do the video first. So I have two parts for my work. One is the video about my work, about 5 minutes, which replace the actually exhibition we were going to have, but we sort of hope in the future we have it. So now let me just share the screen.
玻璃艺术创作以教学是我生活的大部分。闲暇的时候，我会去航山。那这个是我一个长时间对大自然的喜好。大自然给我很大的灵感。在航山的时候，在大自然里面行走的时候，往往给我很宁静的对自我对话的一个空间。Breath， 呼吸是我在澳门民政中署画廊的个展创作的一个新的作品。树木是呼吸，吹玻璃也是呼吸，我们人活着也是呼吸，或希望透过玻璃圆球，然后还有树木的木块来表现一种呼吸的纯然的一个感觉。第二组作品是2016年2月份以马尔代夫当地的吹玻璃工作团队所制作的一组作品。那这一组作品的话，是我博士时候的作品的一个延伸。那这组作品，我希望未来我可以做到第10组。那现在这是第2组。那这次特地从马尔代夫运送回来参加 Wang Space 这次的个展。第3组作品是60个绣圈，我特地为香港这次个展维持1年的创作。基本上我绣的时候是在地铁上，在坐公车的时候，或是坐飞机，是在我在时间的空隙里面绣的。那当大家在地铁上面滑手机，我就一针一线的绣着缝着。比较有趣的是说，当我在地铁里面在绣圈的时候，往往引起别人好奇的眼光，然后他们也会跟我交谈。那我觉得这个部分的话，就跟大众有一些连结。那我跟他们的一些小小的时光有一些交汇，我自己也蛮喜欢这个部分的。第4组作品是自如，那这一组作品是我在念博士的时候所创作的一组作品。那这组作品目前已经在澳洲、台湾、香港还有澳门展出过，每一次展出的效果都不一样。那也就是我当初创作这件作品所设定的，希望它每一次都不一样。那因为我们每一个人所经历的东西也时时刻刻在变，那我是希望说，我们人的心情，无论是在刮风下雨或是风平浪静的时候，我们的情绪都可以有一个平静的点，都可以安住在当下，自在的活着。第5组作品，我称它为实验的时光，是利用我2004年前后所做的细胞系列、文字系列作品，把过去的诗意的片段，然后还有现在在实验的片段做一点连结。那我是觉得说，我们的生命不是每个时间都是很完整的呈现的，它是一些片段的结合。我想给自己一点实验的空间，所以这件作品的话，是基于过去、现在与未来是在完整不完整之间。那所以它对我来讲是一件实验性的作品。
So when Harvard invited me to this talk, I was very nervous because I was very excited because it's about water, air, water, and then cloud, and water, cloud, and wind. I said, oh yeah, it's really like a glass and very poetic. But when I look into the content, I was very kind of uncertain because my work is never political. And but I'm looking for the embodiment of the glass material and then Buddhist practice and my personal life experience. So as glass blowing, the one thing is really related to air. So you have to blow it through and then to inflate it, and then with the heat and with the teamwork. And this photo is I made in Maldives in 2016, and I was doing an artist residency there. And then this work is I done. Okay, let me go back. This is done with a similar technique layer, and this is a work. So I use the Chinese character Lu. Suchness is a Buddhist concept about every moment you like truly to be in this moment, and then I use the Chinese calligraphy gesture. Every time when you write on hard glass, you could not be repeat. And then the moment you are in the moment, the perfect or imperfect need to be perfect with your partner, not only with you. The difference between Chinese calligraphy and glass making is Chinese calligraphy is more about personal practice, and glass blowing is more about a teamwork. So the cooperation between me and my assistant is very important, and then also my own energy. So this part is quite related to the Chinese calligraphy part, and then the flow is a little bit like a liquid water or ink when you work with hard glass. And then this one is after blowing, and there's another technique where actually there's lump, other than to let air to go out, other than to suck in, other than so to create sort of a little bit when you breathe, then you come down, like this kind of moment. And this one is totally squeezed out original the air in the middle of glass, other than no, originally was a bubble, but become no bubble. So it's kind of long slump, other than totally flat, maybe relax. Okay, and then in the this become a wall panel. So I also investigate the possibility not only three-dimensional object displayed on the pedestal, also on the wall. Other than this one, actually I work on the surface, and then is working with the stone and the diamond cutting wheel, and then to do the texture. So this part actually is working from the air blow, and then after blow, and then I cut with water, and then hand polish. And then this one actually is from original was going to imitate the stone and then the clouds. So it's when I moving from Australia to Hong Kong, I originally from Taiwan, then to Australia, and then from Australia to Hong Kong. The skyline is totally different. Other than the air is very different, the water is also very different. And always, when I just moved to Hong Kong from Australia, I always miss the sky in Australia. But now the Hong Kong sky is much better recently. And this one is original idea is from the our share. Other than this part is the fluid in our body. Other than use the method of glass cutting and then blowing, other than to simulate the feeling of the share inside our body, and then each share is different to the body. Other than this one later on, I have stopped making those work, and later on I reinvestigated. Other than pray with more lighting. In 2017, when I had an exhibition in One Space, which you can see, and this is some close up. Yeah. Okay, so there's one thing I feel about glass. My glass is my work is very different from the regular items you can see from IKEA or from the shop. When I get me interested into glass is my professor Stephen Proctor. That Stephen Proctor, he showed me how to cut glass, other than to add the warmth dimension, the surface dimension onto glass. That was the point I start to get in love with glass making, because the shining surface was never my intention with glass. And when I added the surface treatment, then I feel there's touch, there's a conversation between me and the glass, and then also the surface, the temperature of glass actually changed. And this one actually is a work done by my professor who passed away 2001, and then he didn't finish his work, but I finished this work. And then this is through like Qing Dynasty, Biyanhu, it's not battle the way the cutting, but more poetic way approach instead of to imitate the mountain or water. And talking about nature, force, or wind, once I was in 2006, I visited Turkey, Cappadocia. I was teaching a glass casting workshop later. After late, I went to travel by myself, and then I was wondering where is my next direction. I wondering about my artistic life, and then the moment. There's another argument or question in myself about what is my identity. A Taiwanese went to Australia to do a PhD, and what the cultural difference. And then I'm keep thinking about self. So in the Western way, the self is more into is I. And but in Chinese self is 自. So actually this work is developed, inspired by this kind of balance, but almost could be imbalance in the future. So and then I utilize Chinese character self, 自己的自, and then use the bubble, which is the kept air inside. So the kept air is the space. The symmetry present the space between strokes. So use this as an example to talk about the self, but the transparent self. In Chinese, we are always talking about how can we transparent ourselves as a crystal from inside out. This is another one. And this is another one. So sometimes ourselves is have three bubbles, which is a radial one, other than sometimes it's almost. So there's a two bubble here. So Chinese character self, 自己的自, actually they have a two, so it should be three spaces. But sometimes when we lose ourselves, then maybe a little bit this almost self layer. Okay, so this one. And this one is spatial colored one. Okay, so when I moved to Hong Kong to teach, and the scene in Hong Kong I feel really inspiring is it's very easy access to the nature, to the mountain. You know, when I first arrived in Hong Kong, I was very worried because I said I might lose the way to nature, because I always need to be in nature in the weekend. So when I moved to Hong Kong, actually I discovered there's a hiking trail is everywhere and then very easy to access. And this is one of the morning I went hiking with my friends. And then the water dew, which inspired me to do this installation. So for meditation, they come and they go, and then the water dew come and go in the morning, and then disappear. The next morning come again. So this is also from a poem, a Chinese poem from Sanji Qinggong. So it's the moment, the dew is like this moment. Just focus on this moment, be present in this moment. This was the feeling behind this work. And then later on, I was thinking about how can we be ease? How can I achieve so-called happiness in myself? And then when I thinking about it, I start to produce Louis de Lu and place on the floor, try to relating to try to use this kind of making method to discover what is behind self. Then this is a close-up. Then after that, then I think put on the floor is really not the ideal way. So I want to it above the floor other than to find the shadow. So it takes couple years to find out the way I want to do it. And then I had a critique with my colleague, Momo, and then she said, the glass panel is not really a good idea, other than I feel so too. So reminded me Liu Zuhuineng, the Buddhist master Liu Zuhuineng, his poem, 菩提本无树，明镜亦非台，本来无一物，何处惹尘埃? So after this, I discovered, I tried another way to suspend the glass writing into the air. So this is a third attempt. Then I figured out actually it's better to do like this way. Actually, it creates a really nice, like a musical scene. And then when you walk past, the glass can touch each other, and then the lighting is quite different. And then it can according to the space, and then adjust to any space. Originally, I was thinking to display this at the AC hall, but I went to check the AC hall. It's not possible to hang this piece. But the work actually is behind my, in my studio. I have the work actually there and in a smaller scale. So this is some close-up. So this part is like a writing calligraphy with hard glass. So every time is different. Every occasion is different. Even I hand it, every time is different. So it's like our moment. Every moment is different. We could not repeat our moment, but the essential part is similar. Okay, so this is a different view. This is actually the exhibition in Macau. When I had a solo exhibition there, the close-up. So I keep thinking about what is the essence of human being's life, and then I come up with the read the Buddhist poem, like 十牛图. So I come up with this idea to use glass to capture the feeling of the journey of our transformation in our life. So this is a 十牛图, the number 8. So I actually use the 平声仄声 other than to do a big circle, which you can see a line, and then smaller circle, and then use the big stone, smaller stone to demonstrate the feeling of the abstract feeling of this kind of transformation. And then this is me and with the glass. And then this is how I figure out in Hong Kong, because the thinking is very poetic, but the making of process of glass is very poetical. So I have to work out how practical I can do is when I go hiking, actually during the lunchtime, I actually am moving the stones. So a lot of people look at me like crazy. Why are you moving a stone? Because I was trying to work out what size of the stone I need to make, and then what kind of scale of the exhibition I need to have. So this was during my hiking in Hong Kong, one of the beach, the rehearsal of my stone installation. So this is a close-up of the stone. And then I think since Fred linked together from one to the other, so the circle is this is the idea is from the Zen circle. So it's one brace. One circle is one brace, cannot be changed. So during my PhD journey, and also write a lot of poems just to be free from professional English writing. So writing the poems can free me in a more poetical way. And then this is one of the circle. I also do a lot of Chinese ink drawing, and then I also write. So this is one of the poems I write during the period. So the raindrop on the balcony, and then create ripples in company with the wind, and it's like a symphony. And the tree dance crazy, but keep rooted in the blowing wind, and the rain flying different direction, wind, rain, wave. And then this was during the typhoon period, and yeah. And then I create this work, and this work is actually difficult to transport. It can only be viewed in the location, and then I cannot transport to another city. I can only make in the venue, nearby the venue, and carry to the exhibition space. And then this is a big circle of glass circle, and it is similar to translate the feeling of ripples into installation. So this is, I come back to Hong Kong, I try, so this is a cement surface, other than this is a wooden surface. It actually is in AVA high-tech campus, the gallery space. And then this is how people work it in between it. So actually, this is actually from a Zen practice, is that you watch every step, you step. So if you don't watch closely, carefully, you will break actually the glass circle. And then I let people to walk in, only a few people at a time, and then they walk in their own pace. So this is actually from the poem, from a Buddhist poem, 受如水上泡, this sentence. So this is a big circle. So you can see the relationship from my calligraphy practice, calligraphy drawing actually influence into my glass making. And then from the glass making, actually being a glass artist, I'm always have to go with the studio facilities. Then sometimes I really admire the writers. They can go out with their pen and a notebook. So I would like to, at some stage, I would like free from the facility. And then, so I actually I want to make art at home. So actually I make two big circles, 1 meter, 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters, two big circles for my Macau exhibition. So with glass, with calligraphy, big calligraphy ink circle is one brace. Other than with the glass circle to hard glass is one brace. But with this one, it's taking about 4 months. So each brace. So actually create similar feeling, but the density is different. So it's layers of moment. It's 4 months in my little apartment in Hong Kong. Then cover the TV, no TV for 4 months to produce two circles. And then being a glass artist, the other reason is I always be in the studio. I don't have much interaction with the audience unless they come to the studio to see me making. So then as the video showed, I want to have an interaction with the audience. So I started a project, 1 year project. When I was invited to do an exhibition in one space, I want to have more interaction with the people in Hong Kong. So I started a project to show around 60 circles in NTR while I'm traveling from Hotan to Kowloon Town or wherever I'm in Hong Kong or in Pren. I'm traveling the little sign edit. And then, behind, I write down the time, the period time, and then what happened during the time. So it's like a little bit diary circle, and then only me know it. So each label here, write down the time, and then the key happening here. And then with the translucent paper underneath the canvas. So this is a 60 circle here at the 1 space when I had the exhibition there. And then this is the brace, which I originally want to display outside the terrace of AC Hall. This is when they were in Macau. And yeah, this is a special platform. Other than this was in 1 space. So when they are in different menu, they actually change. So I like installation. One reason is because they can change according to the menu location. They can adapt. It's like human being. We move to different occasion. We actually adapt. So being a professional glass artist for many years, and I can do complicated things. But when I come back to this work, the bubble is very simple. So I was thinking about, glass was always, they want to, the artists always make them into their ideas. So for this wood, and wood is also make into furniture, into chair, they lost their own personality. So for this work, I want the material return to their original personality. They are themselves, other than, but actually, they also talking for me, but they keep their personality, their material character in their self. So I only review their inner space. And then, as I'm not a wood maker, actually I'm using glass carving technique to do the carving on wood. So I did a 1 year investigation to do how to shape those wood into the shape I want, like a share. Okay, so this is my presentation. Thank you. Yeah.